These are some Dinar Guru updates, starting off with God Lover. Here are my thoughts on why we have not yet seen this blessing. Iraq is not ready, in my opinion. Many theories the government is formed, just not announced. This theory is fine, only they do not have a new government until it is official. I do not believe they are a hiding government. The current government is working as a caretaker government, or however one chooses to label them. The reality per endless articles is they have limited power and cannot send the 22 budget to Parliament. Per articles, this may change, but at this point, it is only talk. All right, Tivon says, 1, will the food security law create purchasing power for citizens? 2, will the rate change occur once FSL is voted on and passed? 3, do we have to wait for the oil and gas law to see a new exchange rate? 4, do we have to wait until the 22 budget is open to see the reinstatement of the dinar? 5, do we have to wait for the formation of the GOI in order to see the release of the new small category notes? 6, do we have to wait until the ATM machines are set up locally, internationally, in order to see the rate on the Forex market? 7, is Iraq waiting for the gold standard so they can peg the dinar to precious metals? These are the lingering questions that some ponder. How close are we really? The summer is now upon us as the saga of the Iraqi dinar continues. What will be in store for us this coming June? Right, Pimpy article quote, Al-Kazimi, Iraq has become one of the most important countries in the Middle East in terms of economic growth. Pimpy says, yes, that's what you want to hear if you're invested in their dinar. But what is good is if you can't get the government to get formed and you can't stabilize the government, you can't stabilize the economy. The only thing holding back Iraq is Iraq, and that's it. All right, and Nader from the Mid-East, the only people who can make a decision on the reinstatement is the CBI. It's not the government, it's not Parliament, not Al-Kazimi, it's not anybody. The CBI has to decide. The CBI makes the decision. The CBI will send their ideas and their statement to Parliament, and they'll go, okay, we're doing this, we're going to do it. Nobody's going to stop them from doing it if they want to do it, so we wait for the CBI. All right, Mark Z via PDK, a Nader from the Mideast earlier said that CBI is all we need to wait on, nothing else. Mark Z says, I agree with that because Iraq has fulfilled all they need, and the CBI said they can go without the government. The IMF is pushing the CBI to change the rate. Walking Stick via Frank26 says the importance of the latest meetings with the CBI, IMF, World Bank, all of them, was to discuss and agree on the ATMs that will soon be released to the Iraqi citizens. These ATMs are now being put into position where they will be available to citizens for the new small category notes. They talk about adding thousands and about replacing ATM machines. Right, Militiaman article quote, finance is finalizing the 22 budget and good news for lecturers and contracts. Militiaman says there is definitely a push to get the reforms done. The articles all show it to be the case, and the world having been involved through World Bank, IMF, AMF, UST, and or was the catalyst to push the political side into high gear, or the consequences may have been very dire. All right, Mark Z via PDK, I did finally get a response back from one of my Reno contacts. They said it is now time to be quiet. We are very, very close. I think this is very telling with the sheer number of people being quiet right now. It's almost been a complete blackout since Sunday and Monday on communications. Personally, I think this could be a great sign. It's been crazy quiet. Remember, nobody knows the exact timing. We all are doing our best guessing based on news articles and what we are being told by sources. I still think we are really close. Pimpy says, I was listening to news from overseas. The lady was talking about how the IMF and the World Bank have grossly underestimated the GDP growth in Iraq and said that if they form their government and move forward in the right way, they would have a much stronger GDP growth. That would be awesome because that's what we want. All right, Bob the Taxman, emerging markets are countries that have some characteristics of a developed market, but yet not fully developed. Iraq and Mongolia are the two latest that are moving from a kind of third world status. Iraq is the richest country in the Middle East in terms of having raw materials and educated people. And lastly, Mark Z via PDK. Today has been crazy quiet again, spooky, crazy quiet. If I reach someone, they say there is no news or no news they're allowed to share at this point. Question: is the silence from everyone's NDAs? Mark Z said, I do believe so. I think this is exactly what we are seeing. I believe all is good and we're in the short and skinny of this. We are stinking close. Question: what makes you say we're close? Mark Z said, all the news out of Iraq as they are pushing to change that value, all the paperwork Iraq has signed with the IMF and the UN, the articles from the IMF and the UN pushing Iraq to change the rate, and the bankers have been over the top.